Hey guys, today I thought we would go through my February reads pretty quickly because much like in January, February was not the greatest reading month for me. Now to start off the month, I finished reading The Essential Quran, which was translated by Thomas Cleary and which I ended up giving 3 stars. I really enjoyed the translation. It was really easy to read. I thought it was very interesting and definitely an educational experience. So if you would like to hear more of my thoughts on that, you can go and check out my January wrap-up, which I will link in the cards. Then kind of the main book that I read in February was Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates, which of course has been a massive bestseller and on everybody's to-read list since it came out in 2015. Now I personally listened to the audiobook version of this, and if I'm honest, I kind of feel like a dick saying this, but I liked it, but I only ended up giving it 3 stars. If you have somehow never heard of Between the World and Me before, it is essentially a work of nonfiction that Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote for his son, describing his own experiences growing up as a black man in the United States. And while I didn't really feel as moved by the book as I thought I was going to, I thought it was a really eloquent articulation of what it is to be a black man in the United States, and there were quite a few moments where I thought, like I've never thought of that before, and obviously that's the whole point of reading diversely, is to expand my own understanding of the world and become a better person because of that. Ultimately, I think my problem with this was that I listened to the audiobook, and while that normally enhances my experience of the nonfiction work, especially if it's narrated by the author, in this case, it just didn't really work for me. Like I said, this is an incredibly intelligent and articulate book, but for whatever reason, hearing Ta-Nehisi Coates speak the words, it just didn't feel as hard-hitting as I was hoping it was going to. And this might be a totally arbitrary criticism, and it might just be the way that Ta-Nehisi Coates talks normally, but I felt very much like I was listening to a new NPR radio host, you know, when they have to talk in a specific cadence and it gets very soft and everybody's a little bit more, I don't know, it didn't work for me. It wasn't the kind of narration, the kind of straightforward narration that I prefer. And yeah, unfortunately, I think that diminished my overall enjoyment of the work. So I did only end up giving it 3 stars, but I would still highly suggest this for anybody, especially those of you who are interested in reading diversely for the sake of expanding your own worldview. And then the only other thing that I completed in the month of February was this poetry chapbook, which is called Perceived Distance from Impact and is written by Camden Hilliard and published by Black Lawrence Press. You guys know that I'm not super confident when it comes to reading poetry, but that I was looking to start getting into more poetry, and I'm really glad that this is the first poetry collection I read this year because while it is structurally very interesting, like he kind of, he does things where he blocks off sections with little dividers here. He also has poems where let me see if I can find them for you guys, where he actually blocks out whole portions of the text and that kind of becomes part of the poetry. So while it seems very complex, this is actually quite accessible. I think as a whole, this collection really speaks to what it means to be a young person in today's world. I think it talks about what it means to be queer, to be black, to be American, to be other in any way, shape, or form. And I just found his voice really quirky and really colorful and just really striking. I feel like the only way I can ever talk about poetry is to actually read it to you guys. So here, let me just read like the first little section here of a poem called Hair Salon, catalog in 7. I love you, Max Hayes, 'cause my aesthetic is too blackish kid who wears nail polish, TM. Mom dad thinks I'm sad again, so we run errands. Hair salon, 1 hour. Bank, 30 minutes. Mall, we won't get there. Mom dad's hairdresser is Auntie Jenny, yes, real name, reader. And aside from being A, hilarious, and B, one hell of a hair tamer, she invented CP time, black folks stride, and the general symptoms of mourning. I am sad, which is why I have what brother calls white hair, and he has what I call slave hair, and it's still funny, hilarious little problem. And that was all I completed in the month of February, though I did continue reading The Reluctant Fundamentalist by Mohsin Hamid, and I am enjoying this. I'm about there as of filming this right now, and I guess I will probably have to just do a completely separate review video on this. Maybe I will talk about how I think it compares to the film, so if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on that, let me know down in the comments below. I swear I cannot talk today. And that was all of my reading for the month of February, so as you can see, I'm still not back into the real swing of things yet, but I'm getting there, so I'm gonna go ahead and call that progress. Anyways, if you guys have read the Ta-Nehisi Coates book in particular, I would love to hear from you because I feel a little bad that I didn't enjoy it as much as I was hoping. I've heard so many good things about it, but it just didn't hit me in the heartstrings as much as I was hoping for. And with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye!